Hi, I'm Emma and I run The Dating Mermaid. You can find more of my stuff, such as blogs and products, at www.thedatingmermaid.com. In this short video, I'm going to talk about the two types of closure after a breakup. Now, many people want to get closure after a breakup. Some people say that they need it or they can't move on. But many people don't realise there's two types. So my advice to people is, if you want closure, work out what type of closure you want first of all, because it makes it an awful lot easier to find ways to actually achieve it. So let's have a little look at those two types of closure. First of all, there's the getting answers closure, which I'll go through in a minute. And there's the second one, which is having your say closure. Right, so these are the two, the getting answers and the having your say. Let's move on to the getting answers closure. So what do people really want when they want this getting answers closure? There's normally 5 things, probably more to be honest, but these are the first 5 that came to my mind. So first of all, they might want to hear their ex say they were wrong. They might want to hear an apology. This is quite a common one. The second one is they want reassurance there's nothing wrong with them. Now, these two tend to go together, because if you can get your ex to say that they were wrong and you get them to apologise, then you can assume that you are not in the wrong. So therefore, it reassures you that there's nothing wrong with you. And the reason why people do this is because often after a breakup, people feel really rejected, and they often move on to ask themselves the question, what's wrong with me, after they feel rejected? And that's obviously a really painful question, because it results in really painful answers. So when people ask themselves that question, they obviously search for answers in their brains about how there is something wrong with them, which obviously leads them to feel quite distressed. So 1 and 2 sort of go together. The third thing they often want is they want reasons why it ended. Now, breakups are pretty painful. So if someone experiences a breakup, what they want is a reason why, and that's so that they can change it and make sure they don't experience a breakup again. However, sometimes people make errors and think that the reason why it ended with one person is the same reason it will end with loads of people, and that's not actually true, because people are so different and different people want different things in a relationship. So the reason why one person might not want a relationship with you is the one reason why another person would. For example, you may be really outgoing, and some people don't like that, so therefore they wouldn't want to have a relationship with you, or if they started dating you after I go, oh, you're not for me. Whereas other people really like extroverts and really like outgoing people. So if you're outgoing, other people would really love to be with you because of that characteristic that you have. So never believe that the reason why it ended with one person is the reason why it will end with absolutely everybody. Number 4, they want to know they meant something to their ex. So when you feel rejected, you feel like you're not good enough. And some people start to question their ex's feelings during the relationship. So sometimes at the end, with regards to closure, they just want reassurance that the relationship at the time actually did mean something to them, their ex. And the final one, some people want to know that they still mean something to their ex. This is often so they can feel kind of less rejected. But another one is, many people like the security of knowing that their ex is still kind of available to them, even if it's just friendship. They just like that security. So if they can get certain answers from their ex, which means that their ex still cares for them, even though they might not want to be in a relationship with them, but they still care for them, or they still mean something to them, it just makes people feel a little bit more secure. So let's move on to the second type of closure. So what do people really want when they want the having your say closure? Right. First of all, they often want to tell their ex that their ex was wrong, because again, this ties in with the slide before, where if you can get to your ex to say they were wrong, or you can get to believe that your ex was wrong, then it means that you're more likely to be right. If you have kind of like black and white thinking of someone's right and someone's wrong, which many people have after a breakup, people want to know that their ex is wrong because it makes them feel better about themselves and their self-esteem increases. Not everybody, but quite a few people. Secondly, they want to state how badly they think they've been treated. They want to state how pains they feel in this particular moment, and they just want to get those words out, and they want their ex to know. Sometimes it's just so they can try and get their ex to change and maybe treat other people better in the future if they had an ex who didn't behave well, because obviously most people in relationships don't necessarily treat their partners badly. There are some exes that do, unfortunately. And then finally, sometimes people want to have their say closure when they want to explain their own behaviour. They just want to go, look, I just need to clear this up. This is the reason why I behaved in this particular fashion. So have your say closure is often trying to just get certain words out and then potentially drawing a line under it. So these are the two types of closure. First of all is getting answers from your ex, and secondly, it's having your say. Here's some quick tips, a couple of quick tips on getting closure. So first of all, identify what feeling you are actually searching for. At this point, you might want to work out what type of closure you're looking for, because potentially you might be looking for both types of closure. That can sometimes happen. So first of all, work out what feeling are you actually searching for. Then work out what type of closure that it is. It might be one, it might be other, it might be both. Then what is a good idea is to write down the exact words that you want to hear from your ex. So once you know the exact words that you want to hear from your ex, you can then work out the questions that you need to ask your ex to potentially get certain answers. Or what I advise people is to not go to the ex to get closure, is try and get closure yourself in your own heads. So if you know the exact words that you want to hear, you can literally say them to yourself over and over, and that hopefully will give you the closure that you need so you can kind of move on. And then moving on, final little point is write down the exact words you want to say, especially if you want having your say closure. And again, you potentially could just write a letter to your ex with the words you want to say. You could post it, or a better idea, because it's best not to post it because it can cause all sorts of problems, and later on you might feel embarrassed about what you've done, or you might regret what you've done, because people are often very emotional when they're going through a breakup, so they do things that later on they kind of regret, so you might want to avoid that. But you potentially could write that on a letter, what you want to say, and then just burn that letter. You can have that as part of a breakup recovery ceremony. You know, some people do that. Anyway, this is just my take on the different types of closure. Hopefully you've enjoyed what I've said. Hopefully you agree with what I've said. Hopefully it will help in some shape or form. Well, let me know. Let me know what you think in the comments box below. Do you agree? Do you not agree? Are there any other types of closure that you can think of? Any tips you've got for getting closure? I'd be really happy to hear that. Anyway, thanks for listening. Bye now.